shit but a spear, maybe. And you collect resources, man. You just. Oh, is that what you're asking?
And then...
Now go back to your inventory and press the sub.
Yeah, you can go to inventory and you can quick craft things that you favorited or they recommend.
Oh.
With as long as you have enough resources.
Okay. Alright.
Now go hit that stone.
How do I
get this? You can get this
stone
stone over here and make some shit up.
It keeps like when I try to hit the stone.
I'm gonna come out with a pick. I need stone.
Wow. Yeah. We are developing the perfect mascot. No stereotypical identifiers from any race or gender.
See, Jeff, this is a chart of the features we're staying away from. Pan-Asian eye folds, Irish chins, women's breasts.
Is that seal? Oh, that is our human color wheel. It goes from seal to seal's teeth.
What do you think?
I think not being racist is the new racism.
Whoa. What happened to the prototype?
Get off me!
Now you're my favorite.
No! 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 What the fuck?
Dude, you can't move, but I'm standing on you unless you crouch.
Dude, the only game I've ever played of survival is like Ark. Get off me! No!
Get back here, bearded man.
Get away from me! Help me! No!
Alright, I'm done. Yeah, let me wrap you up real quick. I'm wrapping myself up, my bad.
Like, all I've watched is YouTube videos on Rust, and I wanted to play this game so bad, and I barely just started it right now.
Wait, do you guys hear the sound when I pull
kiss.
out this? When I pull out my knife?
No, I don't hear it. Switch it! Nah, I don't hear it.
You will like my purple rock.
What the
my rock.
fuck? That's a void rock,
Keith
bro.
my rock.
Kissy.
Keith, it's a nice rock, Keith.
Oh, Kissy. I'm gonna have to like watch a tutorial video. I'll live with anyone, bro. I need a home.
Alright,
Like,
come on,
Where do you live?
I can't. I'm from Cali, dude, but I can't.
Come on,
I don't
daddy.
know how to play
Oh,
this
dude, you're pretty
shit.
close to me, man.
Yeah.
I'm from
Yeah, man, you're pretty close to me,
Orange
man.
County. Orange County, bro.
Hell, wait, what?
Orange
Oh
County.
shit,
My
Travis. Oh, my bad. Your name was moving, dog. I'm terrible at reading. My bad.
It's
The
alright,
disrespect to me.
Raid this house.
Hey,
man.
hurry
I live
up,
on the
Slowpoke.
opposite side of this little U thing. What are you, fucking Bolt?
The
Are
void.
you Usain Bolt?
Yeah, dog. You should see me, dog. I saw Michael Phelps when I jump in the water.
Michael Phelps.
Okay.
See the clan to our right? I stole their semi earlier. I killed them.
I don't have
That
guns
one
yet,
over there?
actually.
Fucking
I don't even
cross
have BPs.
I have
I don't know how to
BB,
fucking sumo
water
rock.
pipe, and semi, and hazy.
I'd just like to say... Throwing stuff again. Like and don't do it, buddy, don't do it. Oh, shit! You okay? He just flew!
Oh my God.
He's at the bottom of the cannon!
What are you doing?
I'm a solo, so
This
it's
dude
kind of
needs a
hard.
bag, probably. And I don't have cloth. I have a cloth.
I'm in my base. I have 400. No, let's make a car. Let's get a car and drive.
Oh yeah, deal.
Let's
Yeah,
get
let's
a-
pick this back up.
Let's get a car. Did I get them all? I think I got them all. He
Oh,
deserves
he had
to
very
die.
special rock too.
fucking stabbed the body for cloth, nigga. What the fuck?
And I
Nah,
robbed
nigga,
him
you
for his
didn't see
green rock.
nothing.
Scientist,
green rock.
scientist. There's a scientist. There's a scientist.
Get
Get
him!
my rock.
I'm
naked.
done!
We're naked. Don't do
I'm
it.
gonna 360
Don't
nose
do
scope
it.
your
We're
ass.
It is not
peaceful!
okay.
Relax!
I'm a 360 rock you
Peaceful!
in the head.
Peaceful, peaceful, peace,
It's
peace,
not okay.
please!
I'm
I
a
don't have
360 rock
anything.
you in the head.
Please!
You
Please.
say,
Good
son,
job.
Chill,
You killed the
chill,
naked.
chill, 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 chill. I don't have anything, chill. Please chill. Please chill. I don't have anything, bro. I don't have anything. I don't have
I
anything!
want to your nose. Just a
Why are you
360. It
killing
was a
me?
360, you Jew.
Yo, how do I hit with the rock? Tell me. What the fuck? Help me. Help. Oh, that's how I tag. I fixed my fucking controls. Now I know how to tag. I'm gonna beat the shit out of this tree, bro. Beat the fuck out of this tree. Beat it! Beat it! Hiya! No!
Oh, what the
Wait,
fuck's
hey,
going
hey,
on over
hey,
here?
chill, 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 chill. I don't know how to play, bro. You motherfucker! Pick
You
me
killed
up!
my motherfucking buddy. Cryo is my friend. You
No!
heard him.
A lot. I don't think he said a word. I don't know why he hadn't said a word to Putin about it. And I don't know what he has recently said, if anything, to the Iranians. My guess is he'd probably be more outspoken with regard to the Iranians. But the point is this, folks. We are in a situation where we have foreign countries trying to interfere in the outcome of our election. His own national security advisor told him that what is happening with his buddy, well, I shouldn't, well, I will. His buddy, Rudy Giuliani, he's being used as a Russian pawn. He's being fed information that is Russian, that is not true. And then what happens? Nothing happens. And then you find out that everything that's going on here about Russia is wanting to make sure that I do not get elected the next president of the United States because they know I know them and they know me. I don't understand why this president is unwilling to take on Putin when he's actually paying bounties to kill American soldiers in Afghanistan, when he's engaged in activities that are trying to destabilize all of NATO. I don't know why he doesn't do it, but it's worth asking the question. Why isn't that being done? Any country that interferes with us will, in fact, pay a price because they're affecting our sovereignty.
President Trump, same question to you. Let me ask the question. You're going to have 2 minutes to respond. For 2 elections in a row now, there has been substantial interference from foreign adversaries. What would you do in your next term to put an end to this? 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Well, let me respond to the first part, as Joe answered. Joe got $3.5 million from Russia, and it came through Putin because he was very friendly with the former mayor of Moscow, and it was the mayor of Moscow's wife, and you got $3.5 million. Your family got $3.5 million, and you know, someday you're going to have to explain why did you get 3.5. I never got any money from Russia. I don't get money from Russia. Now, about your thing last night, I knew all about that, and through John Ratliff, who is fantastic, DNI, he said the one thing that's common to both of them, they both want you to lose, because there has been nobody tougher to Russia. Between the sanctions, nobody tougher than me on Russia. Between the sanctions, between all of what I've done with NATO, you know, I've got the NATO countries to put up an extra $130 billion, going to $420 billion a year. That's to guard against Russia. I sold, while he was selling pillows and sheets, I sold tank busters to Ukraine. There has been nobody tougher on Russia than Donald Trump. And I'll tell you, they were so bad. They took over the submarine port. You remember that very well. During your term, during you and Barack Obama, they took over a big part of what should have been Ukraine. You handed it to them, but you were getting a lot of money from Russia. They were paying you a lot of money, and they probably still are. But now, with what came out today, it's even worse. All of the emails, the horrible emails of the kind of money that you were raking in, you and your family. And Joe, you were vice president when some of this was happening, and it should have never happened. And I think you owe an explanation to the American people. Why is it? Somebody just had a news conference a little while ago who was essentially supposed to work with you and your family, but what he said was damning. And
They told me, son, you're special. You were born to do great things. You know what? They were right.
am Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone. I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose rapture. A city where the artist would not fear the censor, where the scientist would not be bound by petty morality, where the great would not be constrained by the small. And with the sweat of your brow, rapture can become your city as well.
We have to leave here, Ziel, before the Federation arrives.
I'm not leaving.
These people are our enemies.
They're not my enemies. I'm one of them.
That's not true.
Father, I helped Major Kira and the others escape from the holding cells.
What you're saying?
Yes, I do. I belong here. Goodbye, Father. I love you.
No! Murder. She was a traitor. Sia, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Sia, I forgive you. It's all right.
We're out of time, sir. The last ship is waiting for us.
Sia, Please hear me. I love you. I love you, Zial. No. No. Come.
Welcome back, Captain. Good to see you, Constable. It's good to see you all.
Hi, Captain. It would appear I owe you a barrel of blood wine.
We'll drink it together.
Jadzia.
I guess the wedding's still on.
Hawk.
The hollow suite still working. Ready and waiting. Julian, did you hear that? The battle's ready. I'll meet you there in an hour.
You've been promoted?
I'm an engineer.
We'll be working together. Actually, you'll be working for me.
So, where's Major Kira?
What the fuck? When's he on?
I could never figure out.
I don't know how you survived that plane crash, but I've never been one to question Providence. I'm Atlas, and I aim to keep you alive. Now keep on moving. We're gonna have to get you to higher ground. Take a deep breath and step out of the bathysphere. I won't leave you twisting in the wind. We're gonna need to draw her out of hiding, but you're gonna have to trust me. Steady now. Your genetic code is being rewritten. Just hold on and everything will be fine.
This little fish looks like he just had his cherry popped. Wonder if he's still got some Adam on him. Hear that? Let's bug. Weak! You're a weak chopper. This little fish ain't worth towing it with no big daddy. Yellow! Always have been. You'll be no better off with a metal daddy, little fish. See you floating right.
Look, Mr. Bubbles, it's an angel. I can see light coming from his belly. Wait a minute, he's still breathing. It's all right. I know he'll be an angel soon.
You all right, boyo? First time plasma's a real kick from a mule. But there's nothing like a fistful of lightning now, is there? Looks like you've run out of Eve, the juice that powers up your plasmids. I'll send you some backup in the pneumo tube.
Don't fucking Don't run! Always run! Tell Ryan I'm sorry. I won't do it again. No, please, please, don't do. I can control myself. I can.
Listen, I've got a family. I need to get them out of here. But the splicers have cut me off from them. If you can reach them in Neptune's bounty, then maybe, just maybe. I know you must feel like the unluckiest man in the world right now. But you're the only hope I'll ever see my wife and child again. Go to Neptune's bounty. Find my family, please.
None. Why aren't you here? Why is it today and not then when you were warm? Baby and me! Baby and me! Oh. Oh. Oh.
Plasmids changed everything. They destroyed our bodies, our minds. We couldn't handle it. Best friends butchering one another. Babies strangled in cribs. The whole city went to hell.
Yep, they don't make games like Doom anymore. Quake? Now that was a real game. Remember Blockbuster? Those were some good times. Remember MSN Messenger? I'd take that over Discord any day of the week. Video games just don't have soul like they used to.
Last time on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Have your favorite wish, my young friend. You're 10 years older. A man.
And now, the conclusion.
Computer, access holodeck 3.
You didn't touch my pancakes, so you must be starving. So, why did he just sit there the whole time?
You son of a bitch.
done with her, it'll take the fight right out of you. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be with a real man?
No! No! Don't! Don't!
Lieutenant, take a security team to holodeck 3.
Aye, Captain.
I disengage the safety protocols.
His neck is broken. No life signs.
No!
Comment, rate it, favorite, and subscribe.
Vital signs dropping.
Superintendent, I hope you're ready for
HEV.
watering. Old family recipe.
For...
Yeah.
Yes, and you call them, despite the fact they are obvious.
You know, one thing excuse me for 1 second.
Emergency. User death imminent.
Regardless of me, I think you have to clean it up and talk to the American people. Maybe you can do it right now.
Vice President Biden, you may respond. 30
Okay, straight
seconds.
here.
And then I do want to follow up on the election security.
I have not taken a penny from any foreign source ever in my life. We learned that this president paid 50 times the tax in China, has a secret bank account with China, does business in China, and in fact is talking about me taking money. I have not taken a single penny from any country whatsoever, ever. Number one. Number two, this is a president, I have released all of my tax returns. 22 years, go look at them. 22 years of my tax return. You have not released a single solitary year of your tax return. What are you hiding? Why are you unwilling to? The foreign countries are paying you a lot. Russia's paying you a lot. China's paying you a lot. And your hotels and all your businesses all around the country, all around the world. And China's building a new road to a new a golf course you have overseas. So what's going on here? Why don't release your tax return or stop talking about corruption?
President Trump, your response.
First of all, I called my accountants, underwrote it. I'm going to release them as soon as we can. I want to do it, and it'll show how successful, how great this company is. But much more importantly than that, people were saying $750. I asked them a week ago, I said, what did I pay? They said, sir, you prepaid tens of millions of dollars. I prepaid my tax. Tens over the last number of years. Tens of millions of dollars I prepaid. Because at some point they think it's an estimate. They think I may have to pay tax. So I already prepaid it. Nobody told me that.
Did your accountant
Nobody
tell
told
when
you
you
that.
released
Excuse
them?
me. And it wasn't written whenever they write this. They keep talking about $750, which I think is a filing fee. But let me just tell you, I prepaid millions and millions of dollars in taxes. Number one. Number two, I don't make money from China. You do. I don't make money from Ukraine. You do. I don't make money from Russia. You made $3.5 million, Joe, and your son gave you. They even have a statement that we have to give 10% to the big man. You're the big man, I think. I don't know, maybe you're not, but you're the big man, I think. Your son said we have to give 10% to the big man. Joe, what's that all about? It's terrible.
All right, gentlemen, I want to ask you both some questions about all of this, but I'm going to let you both respond very quickly. You just said you spoke to your accountant about potentially releasing your taxes. Did he tell you when you can release them? Do you have a deadline for when you're going to release them to the American people?
Worse than the Tea Party got treated. Because I have a lot of people in there, deep down in the IRS, they treat me horribly. We made a deal, it was all settled until I decide to run for president. I get treated very badly by the IRS, very unfairly. But we had a deal all done. As soon as we're completed with the deal, I want to release it. But I have paid millions and millions of dollars, and it's worse than paying. I paid in advance. It's called prepaying your taxes. I paid in advance.
I want to ask you both about questions regarding your potential foreign entanglements and questions that have been raised to give you both a chance to talk about this more broadly. Respond very quickly, and then I'll get to my question.
Why did he's been saying this for 4 years? Show us. Just show us. Stop playing around. You've been saying for 4 years you're going to release your taxes. Nobody knows it, Mr. President. What they do know is you're not paying your taxes, or you're paying taxes that are so low. When last time he said what he paid, he said, I only pay that little because I'm smart. I know how to game the system. Come on. Come on, folks.
So,
President Trump, and then I want to get to two questions to both of you.
I was put through a phony witch hunt for 3 years. It started before I even got elected. They spied on my campaign. No president should ever have to go through what I went through. Let me just say this. Mueller and 18 angry Democrats and FBI agents all over the place spent $48 million. They went through everything I had, including my tax returns, and they found absolutely no collusion and nothing wrong. 48 million. I guarantee you, if I spent 1 million on you, Joe, I could find plenty wrong. Because the kind of things that you've done and the kind of monies that your family has taken, I mean, your brother made money in Iraq, millions of dollars. Your other brother made a fortune, and it's all through you, Joe. And they say you get some of it, and you do live very well. You have houses all over the place. You live very well.
All right, gentlemen, let me just ask some questions about all of this broadly. Vice President Biden, there have been questions about the work your son has done in China and for a Ukrainian energy company when you were vice president. In retrospect, was anything about those relationships inappropriate or unethical?
Nothing was unethical. Here's what the deal. With regard to Ukraine, we had this whole question about whether or not, because he was on the board, I later learned of a Burisma, a company, that somehow I had done something wrong. Yet every single solitary person, when he was going through his impeachment, testifying under oath who worked for him, said, I did my job impeccably. I carried out U.S. policy. Not one single solitary thing was out of line. Not a single thing, number one. Number two, the guy who got in trouble in Ukraine was this guy trying to bribe the Ukrainian government to say something negative about me, which they would not do and did not do because it never, ever, ever happened. My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China. I have not had it. The only guy who made money from China is this guy. He's the only one. Nobody else has made money from China.
President Trump, let me ask my question to you.
But could I just one thing?
Very quickly.
His son didn't have a job for a long time, was sadly no longer in the military service. I won't get into that. And he didn't have a job. As soon as he became vice president, Burisma, not the best reputation in the world. I hear they paid him $183,000 a month. Listen to this. $183,000, and they gave him a $3 million upfront payment.
All right.
And he had no energy.
I'm going to let the vice president respond to that quickly, and then I need to get to a question to you. Very
no
quickly,
basis for that. Everybody investigated that. No one said anything he did was wrong in Ukraine.
Okay.
Sunglasses. They're funny. Indoors.
care to tell me why you've had a hole in the wall the size of Plymouth Rock coming out of your crapper for 3 weeks now? Nah, I ain't saying I'm Shakespeare. I'm trying to run a respectable theater. I got working folk coming in from Fort Nichols trying to catch a little version. And all I can think about is the stink coming out of your shitter. Get it fixed.
Careful now. Would you kindly lower that weapon for a minute? You think that's a child down there? Don't be fooled. She's a little sister now. Somebody went and turned a sweet baby girl into a monster. Whatever you thought about right and wrong on the surface, well, that don't count for much down in Rapture. Those little sisters, they carry Adam, the genetic material that keeps the wheels of Rapture turning. Everybody wants it, everybody needs it.
Hey, I'm Jeff Keighley here in Boston to go behind the scenes to hear some untold stories about the making of Bioshock with Ken Levine and Sean Robertson. Let's talk a bit about the theme and setting of Bioshock, Rapture. I think a lot of people, when they played the game for the first time, Ken, they wondered, how did you even dream up this place? And I know you've said publicly before that part of the reason you what led you to Rapture was this idea of fully simulating a place. Tell us about that sort of idea and the frustrations you had with other games where you sort of hit a bound.
I think our philosophy was always to do what we were doing 100% rather than try to do something bigger and do it 50% or 40%. So one of the ideas of, and this sort of came from System Shock 2 as well, where you focus on an area that you can really bring to life and you kind of eliminate the questions of, well, why can't I go over the bridge to New Jersey? So
Hey, I'm Jeff Keighley here in Boston to go behind the scenes to hear some untold stories about the making of Bioshock with Ken Levine and Sean Robertson. Let's talk a bit about the theme and setting of Bioshock, Rapture. I think a lot of people, when they played the game for the first time, Ken, they wondered, how did you even dream up this place? And I know you've said publicly before that part of the reason what led you to Rapture was this idea of fully simulating a place. Tell us about that sort of idea and the frustrations you had with other games where you sort of hit a bound.
I think our philosophy was always to do what we were doing 100% rather than try to do something bigger and do it 50% or 40%. So one of the ideas of, and this sort of came from System Shock 2 as well, where you focus on an area that you can really bring to life and you kind of eliminate the questions of, well, why can't I go over the bridge to New Jersey? So we were able to really make a place, I think, that felt believable and real, even though in actuality it was really quite limited. But we just sort of dressed it with all these buildings outside that were all, were all basically glorified fakes. We let the story drive what we needed to show rather than some kind of like predetermined map which we set down, which is a little different than like System Shock 2, where we actually mapped a spaceship out deck by deck.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the philosophy felt a little different there, because you want to feel like a real spaceship that was sort of stacked on top of each other. Rapture was free to sprawl across the ocean floor.
Although you guys originally, John, were talking about doing this game on a sort of spaceship again, right?
Yeah, when we first started talking about what the spiritual successor to System Shock 2 was going to be, Spaceship came up, but again, we wanted a limited environment, and we didn't necessarily want to do Spaceship again. And our first actual exploration of this space was underwater, but ultimately ended up looking like a spaceship. It just happened to have a couple of seaweed fronds outside. And that started to push us towards what artistic statement that we wanted to make this look different, and what rules we were going to set for the world. How at every turn we were going to try to remind the player that they were in fact underwater and that this wasn't a spaceship.
And how, like, underwater, we obviously know you did underwater, then sitting in the sky, like, where did you come with the idea of, like, doing this underwater?
I think there was probably a conversation. It's like, well, what kind of places could be cut off from other places?
Yeah.
Like, well, spaceship, summer camp, any island notion, right? Something that's cut off from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So you never felt like you should be able to go over that bridge to New Jersey.
I don't want to apply some deep and meaningful conversation. I think it was one of those ideas that you just kind of say, and then everybody's, that sounds cool. Let's try that. Let's go for it.
And I think it lended itself to having very nice views out the window without having to build an insane amount of unique assets.
Right.
By today's standards, we still were a small team back then. And there's an expectation that because you're underwater, the view distances are going to be short, so you can really kind of fade out into the fog at a short distance and not have the expectation that, why can't I see forever? So there's a lot of limitations in a good way that we put on ourselves by being underwater, as opposed to, like, if you're on a cruise ship, then you'd expect to see across the water, and we'd have to deal with that. Same thing with an island.
Or in a city in the sky.
Exactly.
Which was a lot more complicated, yeah.
So you came up with the idea of, let's do this underwater, let's do this sort of isolated place. Then you had to answer the question of, why would someone build this? Is that sort of how it worked, sort of order of operations? You then had to come up with a story to explain?
Yeah, I think we wanted a very believable reason why they'd be there. Right. And sort of the necessary isolation of the place sort of led to, well, what kind of person would want to do this? And I wasn't even particularly aware of the sort of political implications of what I was reading, but I've been reading, I had read The Fountainhead. Right. By Ayn Rand, and I mostly thought it was an interesting story. Like, I didn't realize that people were sort of basing their sort of political lives around it, because I wasn't that tuned in to that stuff at that point. And so, but I love the
an extra oomph. Mr. Boots, or a good boy. Two. Purring, 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 yes you are. You're such a good boy, Mr. Boots. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Mr. Boots, you are such a good boy. I love you. Let's go to church, praise CAC today, Jesus Christ. Don't send me to hell. Don't send me to hell.
In the creek!
My God. But the simulation is too much for me. No, it's not. I'm a good boy.
Hardpoint is secure. Care package on the way. Protect the drop zone. Hardpoint is an enemy head.
Dun, 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 dun. You're
Enemy
a good
recon
boy.
aircraft observed.
Yes, you are.
Enemy care package observed. Stop their resupply. Extend the hardpoint. Firing primary battery. Target position confirmed. Allied hands.
What would you do if there was a child right in front of you?
Major fracture detected.
I'm Rick Harrison, and this
is my hiding spot, and I'm not moving until the situation is drastically improved.
Rick Harrison, and this
is my hiding spot, and I'm not moving until the situation is drastically improved.
How it feels to chew 5 gum. Stimulate your senses.
Will require subspace link-up.
In that case, create a subspace link with Nehru Colony, New France Colony, and Corrado 1 transmitter array.
Attempting link-up. Stand by.
Computer, access musical files.
Major fracture detected. Automatic medical systems engaged. Morphine administered.
Dog? Dog, where are you going? Was it something I said? Huh? Dog, what are you... I think Dog needs a few bolts tightened. Look out!
The Bajor master data banks and create a concert program of Bajoran Serenits.
Stand by. Unable to stand.
I'm reading a huge plasma surge in the habitat ring.